It is LFC Plavi. It is match reaction. It is another Liverpool loss. And it is same old, same old. Nothing different. Just as it's been in the past 6 or 7 games, we are exactly where we are. There has been no progress. And it is the same old way of playing against Liverpool, taking advantage of set pieces, defending deep, giving Liverpool the ball, forcing them or asking them to break you down, and playing on the counter attack. It always works against Liverpool, and nothing has changed. There has been no single change. It is also another Liverpool performance where there is a lack of grit, there is lack of fight, no heart, no passion. The desire to not lose the game is absolutely non-existent. Absolutely non-existent. I'm in a dark background today. There's less light. It is actually dim in the room. And it is actually dim in Liverpool. The team is in a dark place. So henceforth, it is actually better for me to keep using a dark background. I should even be in the dark right now filming this video because Liverpool are in the dark, really. There should be no light in my videos until we start winning, until we start getting back to winning ways. I think it will be a good strategy because it is dark times. It is absolute, total crisis. 6 losses in 7 games. Now, after 12 games of Premier League action, Liverpool have won 6 on one hand and lost 6 on the other hand. And for me, that only tells you one thing. The one thing it tells you is that this team only goes into games to go and win. There is no idea, no passion, no determination to not lose games. They don't go into games. Liverpool, both the coach and the players don't go into games not trying to lose. And I think at this point in time where we find ourselves right now as a team, Liverpool, in our next, say, 3 to 5 games, the only idea or the only goal that we should have is not to lose again in the next 3 to 5 games. Because how can you play 12 games and win 6, lose 6, no draws? The fact that there are no draws means that you go into the games thinking that you are good enough to win the game, not recognizing your weaknesses, not recognizing how to stop the opponent, and you end up losing. The other thing also is that it is very easy to stop this Liverpool team from scoring goals, either through luck or Liverpool not taking their chances, like it happened today in that first 30 to 35 minutes. Liverpool played well, actually. Before Liverpool went down to a goal, they were playing well. They were on top. They were creating chances. They were peppering Nottingham Forest in their penalty area. But it couldn't produce anything. Nothing came out of it. It didn't bear any fruit. We only had seeds to feed on. There were only seeds. And we can't feed on seeds. We need the fruits. We need the flesh. And that is the goals. We lost that. We didn't have that. We didn't have the goals to go with the domination that we had. And we can talk about hard luck and being unlucky about the first goal. Refereeing decisions. Was a Nottingham Forest player blocking Alisson's view? Maybe, maybe not. But for me, that very goal signifies all that is wrong with Liverpool. It has nothing to do with tactics. It has nothing to do with tactics. I've always said it. This performance from Nottingham Forest wasn't because there was a tactical masterclass from Sean Dyche to beat Arne Slot. There was nothing like that. In fact, in all the 3 goals, Liverpool never conceded a goal from counter-attack. There was no counter-attacking goal. There was no goal from long balls. There was no goal from long throws. They did score a corner from set piece. They did actually score a goal from set piece, through a corner. So we can count that as one of Liverpool's weakness. But the way we defended that particular corner, just look at how Liverpool defended that corner, leaving players in the penalty box unmarked. It was a corner that Van Dijk got a flick on. But after the flick on, nobody was alert enough. The whole team. That is why we talk about grit, passion, desire, energy. It was missing. And right at the beginning of the second half, Nottingham Forest scores in less than a minute. And it wasn't from a counter-attack. If you didn't watch the game, you might think Liverpool controlled the game and got done on the break. That was never the case. The second goal came from smooth build-up from Nottingham Forest. Right from kickoff, they kept moving through the gears, moving through Liverpool's midfield, getting into the final third. And that tackle in the penalty box by McAllister on Neco Williams was absolutely atrocious. I didn't know what he was doing there. All he had to do was stand behind him, shadow him, prevent him from moving forward, and force him back. All he had to do. That was all he had to do. He decided to try and nick the ball away from Neco Williams, and he got turned. And at that point, there was nobody in the box to take control of the situation. It was always going to be a situation where you can't really control what happens next. And that is how come we conceded the second goal. The third goal, that was the most baffling goal we've conceded all season. We had about 3 Nottingham Forest players in Liverpool's penalty box, in the 18-yard box. There were about 3 Nottingham Forest players in there, and 4 Liverpool players standing right outside the 18-yard box. I think it was Soboslai, Chiesa. There were 4 players. I can't even remember the names. And they just stood watching Nottingham Forest players run into our box. And they just stood there, froze. They just froze like a picture. Just watching them move into our penalty area, take advantage of the loose ball, and just hit it home. And you just couldn't understand, because there was no passion. For some reason, they thought the ball was going to break and come to them in the midfield, so they didn't have to defend. They thought the defending isn't part of the game. We are down by 2 goals, so all we need to do is go and win. Go and win. So like I said, in the next 3 to 5 games, the only thing that I want to see from this Liverpool team is trying to get a draw. Until we start getting draws, we shouldn't be thinking about winning games, because we are not there yet. We are not there. We shouldn't be thinking about winning games, because we don't value, I don't think this team understands what it takes to win in the Premier League anymore. You need to do the basics right. You need to stop the opponent from scoring, first and foremost. If you can't score, don't concede. I think until we start having that mindset of non-conceding, keeping clean sheets in our next 3 to 5 games, first thing first, keep clean sheets. If we can't score, we can't score. Let's keep the clean sheet. Let's walk home with a 0-0. until we start doing that, because winning 6 and losing 6 means only one thing. It means that you can't defend. You don't go into games being pragmatic. You go with a naive mentality of arrogance, going there to try and say you are good enough to win, so why defend? So you just play your game, trying to win the game. And the opponents against Liverpool this season have all tried to stop Liverpool from scoring. And if you can stop Liverpool from scoring, you have a 99.9% chance of winning the game. Today was another performance where we lost the duels. We lost the duels. For me, losing duels is not about tactics. It is not about tactics. Liverpool won 52 duels as against Nottingham Forest 56 duels won. Ground duels won. Liverpool won 45% of their ground duels. Nottingham Forest won 55% of the ground duels. So for me, in all the games that we've lost, this has been the case. Liverpool losing duels. We haven't won our duels. Today, immediately the game started. In the first 2 minutes, we lost about 3 or 4 duels in that first 2 minutes. And that is when I began to realize that it was going to be a tough night. We got back into the game. We started playing, putting pressure on them. And I thought, okay, maybe we've shaken off the first 2 to 3 minutes and we can go on and win this game. But it wasn't to be. It wasn't to be because we couldn't take our chances. We created them and we couldn't take them. And when you come against teams like this, what you need to do is to get the first goal. Once you get the first goal, the game is there for you to go on and win. We didn't do that today. We didn't score when we were on top. And on top of that, we failed to do the basics right. It came down to moments. Now, just like Slot has been saying throughout the season, that even though we haven't been playing well, most of our games have come down to fine margins. In this particular game, it came down to details. The goals we conceded, it was all down to details. We weren't paying attention to the details. And for me, the manager has to be questioned, because I don't know what we are doing on the training ground. I don't know exactly what happens on a day-to-day basis on Liverpool's training ground. What is the mentality? What is the mentality of this team? Is it to just go on and try and win games? Or is it that we want to prevent the opponent from scoring? Because we have a goal difference of -2, -2 goals. So we've conceded more than we've scored. And that is a sign of a team that is naive, that lacks passion to defend. They lack the grit to put in the hard work, put in the yards, make sure they don't concede. It is a sign of a team that lacks the desire to defend. The desire is absolutely missing. Now, don't get me wrong. This season, I've decided not to watch any tactical videos or any tactical analysis of Liverpool, because this is not tactical. I don't know how many times I need to say this, or how many matches you need to see for you to come to that conclusion that Liverpool's problems has nothing to do with tactics. Again, it has nothing to do with new players coming in. It has nothing to do with that. The earlier we shift our focus and attention from the new players, the better for us, because it is throughout the whole team. It is throughout the whole team, because when new players come to a new team, it is the performance of the existing players, the players they came to meet, that spurs them on. If the existing players are on top of their game and they are playing to the best of their ability with desire and passion and grit, the new players are going to fit in seamlessly. It's going to be seamless. There is no science or rocket maths to this. So it has nothing to do with new players. It has nothing to do with tactics. In fact, your tactics are as good as the energy, the passion, the grit, the determination, and the heart that the players put into implementing those tactics. You can have the best tactics in the world. If the players do not have the passion, if the energy is not right, if the mentality is not right to not concede goals, no tactics in this world, no formation no arrangement on the field will win you games, especially in the Premier League. So that is what we need to get in our minds. In the build-up to this particular game during the week, I saw a few fan channels on YouTube, discussions about Liverpool. And to my surprise, I heard people talking about title chances for Liverpool. Seriously, you got to be kidding me. Talking about title chances, that the title is still there for the taking. You have to be kidding me. Give me a break. Because you look like a comedian if you say something like that. There is no evidence to that effect. So the only thing I can ascribe a statement like that to is fanaticism. You're a fanatic. If you tell me that Liverpool are still in a title race or Liverpool can still go on and win the Premier League, the only thing I can say is that, yeah, you can say that if you're a fanatic. But if you are basing anything on evidence, if you are basing anything on what we've seen so far, Liverpool are nowhere near the title race. And it is going to be a difficult top four battle if things don't change immediately. It is going to be a difficult top four battle. And right now, Liverpool are in a top four battle, which is going to be an total uphill battle. It's going to be a difficult one to finish in the top four. So for me, in the next few games, it has to be not conceding goals, first and foremost. I don't care if Liverpool sit in a low block and hoof the ball up all the time and force the opponent to break us down. And I'm talking about the Premier League. My discussion here is not even about the Champions League. Our next game is against PSV in the Champions League. The Champions League is a different ball game altogether. So we'll talk about that later on. But for now, for today, it is all about the Premier League, and it is all about Liverpool not being able to make sure they don't concede. And in our next 3 to 5 Premier League games, if we don't go into the games with the mindset that we will not concede today, we are going to lose the game, and we will keep losing. So people are calling for the manager's head, rightly so. Rightly so. Anybody who questions the manager and asks that he should be sacked has a point. Has a point. But again, a manager who has won the Premier League in his first season doesn't become a bad manager overnight. So there has to be something going on. And for me, I put it down to two things. The two things, number one, is that Liverpool, being the champions last season, was always going to be a difficult second season, because the history of the Premier League shows us that usually when teams win the Premier League, the season after, they struggle. It happened under Jurgen Klopp. Many coaches have suffered that. There are only a few coaches who have been able to win the Premier League back-to-back. And it is only Pep Guardiola who has won it 4 in a row. So that is why I always say that kudos to Pep Guardiola. He's a genius, because what he has achieved, it is absolutely insane. It is mental for anybody to do it. So it is not about Slot not being a good coach. But for me, winning the Premier League made this Liverpool team relax. It has made us think that we've won it. We've done it last year, and we are struggling to get the energy back. We are struggling to get the motivation to keep going. It is not that the players don't want it. They do, but they just can't get it out of themselves. And the manager is also struggling to get it out of them. Another reason why it is becoming much, much tougher, even for the manager, is Diogo Jota's tragedy. And it is something that we can't discount. We can never, ever, ever discount that this season. So for me, I'm not going to write off the season completely. The Champions League is still there for the taking. But for the Premier League, it's a top 4 battle. So let's go on and make sure that we finish in the top 4. That is all I ask. That is all I expect from this Liverpool team. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here. And also, press the like button.